Okay, up last class we discussed up to Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, Kirchhoff's current law, Kirchhoff's voltage law. So today we'll first discuss about the equation of continuity and relaxation time. So this equation of continuity is based on the law of conservation of charge. We already know that the conservation of charges, the charges can neither be created nor be destroyed. So based on this law of conservation, we can derive the equation of continuity. Equation of continuity means first in this electromagnetic field, I told you the behavior of conductor in electric field. Okay, so we see that in behavior of conductor here, behavior of conductors in electric field, I told you that if we place a isolated conductor in a electromagnetic field, then drifting is caused on the electrons and drift velocity is occur, and due to this drift velocity the charges are uh, concentrated on the surface of the conductor. Okay, and that means the charges are with the charges which are in the inner portion of the conductor, the charges are due to the electric field, the charges are going to the spread on the surface of the conductor. Okay, so if we now we have to discuss about the equation of continuity, and which is based on the law of conservation of charges. So first, if we consider a current carrying conductor with a surface current density is J and which is perpendicular to ds, and the volume charge density is rho v, that means we already know that I is equal to the integration surface integration of J dot ds. Okay, so this formula we already know. So if we have to use the law of conservation of charges, that means if we have to if we think that the charges, suppose in a conductor inside in the inner portion, inner volume of the conductor, if suppose there are some charges and the charges are going to the surface area of the conductor from the inner portion, that means we can say that, simply say that the motion of charge, the total current flowing out of some volume must be equal to the rate of decrease of charge within the volume. That means the current which is flowing out from some volume in the inner portion of the conductor, we can say it is equal to the rate of decrease of charge within the conductor. That means the charges are going from the, due to the electric field in a conductor, the charges in the inner portion of the conductor going to the surface area of the conductor. So from that we can say that the total current flowing out in the some volume uh, inside the conductor in the inner place must be equal to the rate of decrease of charge within the volume. Okay, so that means the charge with the current which is flowing, it is equal to the charges which are going to the surface area of the conductor from the inner portion of the conductor due to the electric field. So we can write I is equal to, now as is equal to minus dq by dt, as q is the total charge and in a small time dt the charge q is flowing out from a particular volume which we consider in the inner portion of the conductor. The charge is going out from the volume to the surface area of the conductor. So we can write I is equal to minus dq by dt, and we know q is equal to, we can write q is equal to integration of rho v dv. So if we just put the value of q is equal to integration rho v dv, then the equation becomes minus d dt of volume integration of rho v dv. And we know that I is equal to the surface integration of jds, the current density into the small surface area. That means if we put the value of I here, it becomes the surface integration of jds is equal to minus volume integration of del rho v by del t dv. This equation is the integral form of the equation of continuity. Okay, this is the integral form of the equation of continuity, and it shows that the current is flowing, the total current is flowing out from the some volume of inside any conductor. It must be equal to the decrease of charge within that volume minus del rho v integration of del rho v dt. It shows that the decrease of the volume charge density inside a particular volume. So with the help of this, we can say this is the integral form of the equation of continuity. Okay, up to this is clear,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
or I have to repeat it again?
So one more time, sir.
Okay. So we know that as per the law of conservation of charges, it states that charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. So if we consider any conductor of a surface current density J, and the J is acting perpendicular to any small area ds, and the volume charge density is rho v, that means we know that the I is equal to the integration of J ds. Okay, so as per the behavior of conductor in an electric field, that means you already told you that if we place a conductor in a particular electric field, then the charges from the inner portion of the conductor is going to the surface area of the conductor, and the current flowing through the surface area of the conductor. So that means if we consider any particular volume or any small volume inside a conductor, inner portion of the conductor, then and if we place the conductor in an electric field, that means due to the electric field, the charges are going out from the particular small volume and store in the, or moved on to the surface area or the surface portion of the conductor. So we can say, and as the charges are flowing from the inner to the surface area of the conductor, that means current is flowing. So we can say that the total current flowing out of some volume must be equal to the rate of decrease of charge within the volume. The charges are going to the surface area from the inner portion, that means there the charges are decreasing in order in the inner portion of the conductor. So the total current flowing out of the sum volume is the equal to the rate of decrease of charge. So as the rate of charge is decreasing in the inner portion, that means we can write I is equal to minus dq by dt. Okay, so the minus sign indicates the charges moving out from the any particular volume in the inner portion of the conductor to the outside or the surface area of the conductor. So as we know that the q is equal to integration of rho v dv, we can denote q is equal to integration of rho v dv. So if we put the value of q here, that means it becomes minus d dt of volume integration of rho v dv. Now if we put the value of I here, that means surface integral of jds, that means the surface integration of jds is equal to now the minus del rho v del t into dv. So this is the integral form of the equation of the continuity. Okay, and it shows that the total current, that means the surface integration of JDS is the total current flowing out from the volume is equal to the minus integration this portion. So minus integration del rho v del t into dv, that means the volume charge is decreasing in the decreasing in order in the volume in the inside of the conductor. So from the conservation of law, we can find the integral form of the equation of continuity, and this is the integral form of the equation of continuity. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now from here, from this equation, we can write that this is the equation: surface integral of JDS is equal to minus volume integration of del rho v del t into dv. So it is already discussed that we can write that this surface integration from, if we have to convert it to the volume integration from, that we just have to make the divergence from. So from JDS we can write the divergence of JDV, and the integration is now the volume integration. Okay, so similar the volume integration, the divergence of JDV is equal to this one. So from here, if we just eliminate the integration in the both side, left hand side and right hand side, then we get the divergence of the current density is equal to minus del rho v by dt. This is the differential form of equation of continuity. Okay, and for the steady current flow means the current is fixed. The current is fixed, that means the volume charge density is also fixed. That means the del t of volume charge density rho v is equal to 0. That means is divergence of J becomes 0 for steady current, as the rho v is constant. As the current is steady now, the volume charge density is constant, that means this part becomes 0. So for the steady current, nabla dot j becomes is equal to 0. Okay, so for the steady current flow, the equation of continuity is the nabla dot j is equal to 0. Now the relaxation time. Relaxation time means the time taken by the charge.
Sir.
Yeah,
Hello, sir.
yeah, yeah.
Sir, what does this minus sign signify, sir? Sir, that nabla dot j equals to minus
Minus
rho
del
v.
minus
Yes, sir.
sign significance that the
Yes, sir.
volume charge density is decreasing order. What I told you, that inside any particular conductor, if the
Yes, sir.
conductor is placed in an electric field, in that case the charges which are enclosed in the inner portion of the conductor, the charges are trying to or move on to the surface of the conductor. Okay,
Okay, sir.
that
Okay, sir.
means if charges from the inner portion of the conductor is going to the surface of the
Okay,
conductor, that means
yes,
if we
sir.
consider the inner portion volume charge density, that means the volume charge density in the inner portion is decreasing.
Sir.
That's why the minus sign is here. The volume
Um,
charge density is decreasing.
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now we already see that we can write that minus del t rho v is equal to nabla dot j. So if we use the Ohm's law, last class I told you Ohm's law is J is equal to sigma into E, conductivity into the electric field. Okay, so if we put the value of J here, that means it is the divergence of sigma E. So we can write it that sigma into the divergence of E. Okay, so we know that from the Gauss's law, we know that divergence of D is equal to rho V. Okay, and we also know that the d is equal to epsilon into E. So if from this equation d is equal to epsilon into E, if we that means from here the E is equal to d by epsilon. So if we put the value of E d by epsilon here, that means the equation now the sigma into the divergence of electric field density divided by the sigma. Okay, so we take the 1 by sigma out, that means sorry, 1 by epsilon out, that means sigma by epsilon into the divergence of d, and we know the divergence of d means the volume charge density rho v. So the equation becomes that del del t rho v is equal to sigma by epsilon rho v. Okay, so if we rearrange this thing, that means from there we can write that del rho v divided by rho v is equal to sigma by epsilon dt. Okay, from here minus del t rho v is equal to sigma by epsilon rho v. So if we take this rho v in the left hand side and the dt in the right hand side, and the minus side is also in the right hand side, that means it becomes del rho v by rho v is equal to minus sigma by epsilon dt. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now if we integrate left hand side and the right hand side, that means it becomes that integration of del rho v by rho v is equal to minus integration of sigma by epsilon dt, and the time is from 0 to t, and here the limit is rho 0 to rho t. Okay, rho 0 is the initial charge density. When time is 0, the charge density is rho 0, and when time is t, the charge density is rho v. Okay, so now if we integrate this two part, from there we can get this value. How? Simply, if you think the integration of the left hand side, integration of del rho v by rho v, that means it becomes equal to what? Integration of del rho v by rho v is equal to what?
0, sir.
Integration of dx by x, what?
X.
No, ln x. Integration of dx by x is ln x.
Oh, integration is yes.
Yeah, dx 1 by x into dx, that is ln x. That means here it is ln rho v. Okay, and in this side is become minus sigma by epsilon t plus a constant, integration constant. Here we take this integration constant as ln rho 0. Okay, as the initial charge density is rho 0, that means from this portion becomes ln rho v is equal to, this portion becomes minus sigma by epsilon into t plus, we can denote it as ln rho 0. This is the integration constant. As we take here it is ln rho v, that's why we take the integration constant as ln rho 0. Okay, so if we simply use the mathematics here, and if we want to eliminate the ln portion, or if we want to get the value of rho v, then it becomes rho v is equal to rho 0 e to the power minus epsilon by sigma into t. Okay, and this epsilon by sigma is denoted by 1 by tau. That's why it is written here rho 0 e to the power t minus tau. Okay, and this is the relaxation time. So what is the relaxation time? Relaxation time means if we place any conductor inside a electric field, the time taken for the time taken by the charges to shift from the inner portion of the conductor to the surface of the conductor, this is known as the relaxation time. The time taken by the charges to move from the inner portion of the conductor to the surface portion of the conductor, this is known as the relaxation time. So here this tau, it is relaxation time, and as we put 1 by tau is equal to sigma by epsilon, that means tau is equal to epsilon by sigma. This tau is known as the relaxation time or rearrangement time. Rearrangement time, that's why, that means it rearranges, the charges rearrange themselves from the inner portion of the conductor to the surface portion of the conductor. This is known as the relaxation time, and it is equal to epsilon by the sigma or the conductivity. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
May I have to repeat it again?
So briefly, sir, once more.
Once more. Okay. So if we see the first portion from the last slide, we already know that the divergence of J is equal to del T of rho V. Okay. So here we write minus del T of rho V is equal to divergence of J. From Ohm's law, last class I told you that J is equal to conductivity into the electric field. So we put the value of J is equal to sigma E. Okay. Now if we take the sigma out, that means sigma into divergence of electric field. We know that the D is equal to electric field density is equal to the permittivity into the electric field. D is equal to epsilon into E. So from here we get the value of E is equal to D by epsilon. So we put the value of D by epsilon here. We take the 1 by epsilon out, that means sigma by epsilon into the divergence of D. And we know from the Gauss's law that the divergence of D is equal to the volume charge density rho V. Okay. So that means minus del T of rho V is equal to sigma by epsilon rho V. Now we take the rho V into the right hand side and and the dt, sorry, rho V into the left hand side and the dt in the right hand side. So what we get, del rho V divided by rho V is equal to minus sigma by epsilon dt. We also take this minus sign to the right hand side. Okay, so we get del rho V by rho V is equal to sigma by epsilon dt. Okay, now if we integrate the both side, so this is the integration. The limit in the left hand side is rho 0 to rho V. Rho 0 is the initial charge density when time is 0, and the right hand side limit is 0 to t. Okay, so this, if we integrate this part, del rho v by rho v, it becomes ln rho v is equal to integration of dt means t, so it is minus sigma by epsilon t plus any constant. Here for the ease of the calculation we take the constant as ln rho 0, the initial charge density. Okay, now if we use the simple mathematics and if we want to get the value of rho v from here, then we get rho v is equal to rho 0 e to the power minus epsilon sigma by epsilon into t. Okay, Here we consider this sigma by epsilon is equal to 1 by tau. Okay, that means tau is equal to epsilon by sigma. Okay, so this tau is known as the relaxation time or rearrangement time. That means if we place any conductor inside an electric field, the time taken by the charges to place themselves from the inner portion of the conductor to the surface area of the conductor is the known as the relaxation time or the rearrangement time. Rearrangement time as the charges rearrange themselves when the conductor is placed in an electric field. That's why it's called rearrangement time, and it is known as T tau is equal to sigma by epsilon. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see from this equation that this relaxation time is inversely proportional to the conductivity. Okay, that means if the conductivity is more, the relaxation time is less. If the conductivity is less, the relaxation time is more. Conductivity more means, that means if any material has the conductivity more, it is easier for the current to flow through the material. Okay, that means for the good conductor, the conductivity is high, and for the bad conductor or the insulator, the conductivity is low. So you can say that for the good conductor, where the conductivity is high, the relaxation time is very less, and for the insulator or the bad conductor, where conductivity is low, that for that materials the relaxation time is high. Okay, so if we suppose consider here, for example, for copper, the conductivity is 5.8 into 10 to the power 7 mole per meter, and the permittivity is 1 if we take. So you can see the relaxation time is 1.53 into 10 to the power minus 19 second. That means this is very small time for the charges to rearrange themselves from the inner portion of the conductor to the surface area of the conductor. Okay, okay, just a minute. So we can say that for the good conductor, the relaxation time is very small. That means the charge will escape from the interior and will come to the conductor surface very quickly. Okay. And for good dielectric or the insulator, the relaxation time is so large that any charge placed inside it will almost remain within it. Okay, so this is the difference in between the conductors and the insulator. In case of, if we take the reference as the relaxation time, so this is the main difference in the conductor and the insulator. Okay, so now if we take two different material, if we use two different material as a conductor, that means we join two different material to flow of current in a particular case. In that case, as the medium is different, that means the conductivity and the permittivity in the both cases are also different. Okay, so that means the current density is also different in the two medium. So here you just have to remember this portion, that In case of the conductor boundary condition, this is the boundary. Two conductors are joined here. So this is the boundary. So we have to remember the boundary condition here. Okay. So you can see for J1 in this medium 1, the current density is J1. We take the normal path and the tangential path J1T and J1N. Similar, the current density in medium 2 is J2, and we divide this J2 in the normal and the tangential part J2N and J2T. So in boundary condition, this tangential part is equal. The electric field's tangential part is equal in the both cases. Okay, and it is continuous. And in case of the electric field density, the normal of the electric field density, that means D1n and D2n, if we subtract the D2n, the field intensity of one medium from the field intensity of the other medium, then we can get the surface charge density rho s. Okay, so these two things you have to remember. If we go to the derivation, it is very long, you don't need these things. Now from here, if you see that E1T is equal to, or the tangential of the electric field in medium 1 is equal to the tangential of the electric field in the medium 2, then if we put that J is equal to sigma E, if you use the Ohm's law, then simply we can write E1T is equal to J1T by sigma 1 and is equal to E2T as J2T by sigma 2. Okay, sigma 1 and the sigma 2 are the conductivity of medium 1 and medium 2, and J1T and J2T, these two are the tangential of the current density of the two medium. Okay, so in this equation d1n minus d2n, we can write d, as we know that from the Gauss's law, we can write d is equal to epsilon into the electric field. So we can write d1n is equal to epsilon 1 e1n. Similar d2n as like that, that is equal to rho s, surface charge density. Now if we put the value of e1n and e2n as per Ohm's law, J is equal to sigma E. So it becomes epsilon 1 J1n by sigma 1 minus epsilon 2 J2n by sigma 2. This is equal to the surface charge density. Now as if we as J1n and J2n, these both are equal also. Okay, this E1T, E2T as equal, similar E1N and E2N is also equal, similar J1N and J2N is also equal. So these two are equal, we take J2N as J1N. So if we common J1N, so we get J1N is into sigma 1 by epsilon 1 by sigma 1 minus epsilon 2 by sigma 2 is equal to the surface charge density. So this is the boundary condition of conductor boundary case, and you have to remember this formula J1n into epsilon 1 by sigma 1 minus epsilon 2 by sigma 2 is equal to rho s. This is required for solving problem. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now Laplace equation for conducting media. We already know in the electrostatics, we already discussed the Laplace equation, Poisson equation. We know that the Laplace square V is equal to 0 for Laplace equation. So here we have to see for steady current, we know that I already told you today that the divergence of J is equal to 0, as the for steady current the volume charge density is constant. That means the nabla dot J is equal to 0. So here if we use the Ohm's law and put the value of J is equal to sigma into E, so we get divergence of sigma E is equal to 0, and we know the value of E is equal to, we can write E is equal to minus nabla V. So if we put the value of E here, that means the divergence of minus nabla V, that means the divergence of minus nabla V is nabla square V. That means this is equal to 0. So you can see that for electrostatic field and for the steady current, the Laplace equation is same. Okay, so in the steady current problem, where we need in case of any problem in steady current flowing through any conductor which is placed in an electric field, so simply we can use the Laplace theorem here also. Okay, as we use it in the electrostatic field, similar manner we can use this Laplace equation in the steady current case, steady current flowing through any particular conductor. Okay, so this is the Laplace equation for any conducting medium. Now duality, what is duality? Duality is the, if two physical condition or in two physical cases, the formula is looks like the same, that is called the duality. There is two different physical condition is there, and if we use the formula, after we using formula, if we derive the formula, we see that this the formulas in the two different physical conditions, the formulas are look like same, so that is called the duality. Okay, so for dielectric and for conductor, for dielectric we already discussed in the electrostatic. We know for the electric field density, the formulas is like that, and for conductor use, if we use the current density, the formulas are like that. So you can see there is a similarity. The divergence of D vector is equal to 0, the divergence of J vector is equal to 0. The cross product of nabla into D is 0, the cross product of nabla into J is 0. D is equal to epsilon E, J is equal to sigma E. So the formulas are same. The notations are different, but the formulas are looks like same. So this is called the duality between the D field and the J field for dielectric and the for the conductor. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Now here is a simple problem. Establish the relation. We have to establish the relation G by sigma is equal to C by epsilon, where G and C are respectively the conductance and the capacitance between the two electrodes, and sigma epsilon as the conductivity and the permeability of the uh, intervening medium. Okay, so we know that as per the meaning of capacitance, C is equal to Q by V. Okay, C is equal to Q by V. So if we put the value of Q, okay, so sorry, if we put the value of V is E dot dl, okay, integration EDL, and for the total charge we can write it as the total. If we have to find the total charge, then we can write Q is as integration of Qs ds. Okay, so this C becomes now this by this. So as per the boundary condition, we know that the epsilon into E is equal to Q. So if we put the value of Q here, that means epsilon integration E and ds divided by integration E dl. And we know that the conductance is equal to G is equal to the conductance, and we know the conductance is equal to 1 by resistance. Okay, so that means G is equal to resistance is V by I. That means G is equal to I by V. So G is equal to I by V. We put the value of I, J dot ds, and the value of V, E dot dl From Ohm's law, we know that the J is equal to sigma into E. We put the values here. Okay, now if we compare these two equations, C is equal to epsilon integration E and ds divided by integration EdL, and in case of G, it is sigma by this portion. So you see, in case of G, suppose this integration E and ds divided by integration EdL, if we take this as C, that means G is equal to sigma dot, sorry, C is the here capacitance, suppose X, so G is equal to sigma X, here C is equal to epsilon X. C is equal to epsilon, we take this as X, that means epsilon X, here G is equal to sigma X. So we can write G is equal to C into sigma by epsilon. See here, if we multiply sigma by epsilon, that means epsilon is cancelled, so it is become sigma into this by this, that means this is equal to Z. So we can write G is equal to C into sigma by E, and from here we can write G by sigma is equal to C by epsilon. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for electrical students, I just share, you all please switch on your videos so that I can take the snapshot. For electrical student, I just share the attendance link in your WhatsApp group. So please fill the attendance link. Please fill the attendance link.